Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Captain Hook podcast, season 7, episode 16, Breadcrumbs, aka the Captain Cobra adventure at sea.
Yay.
What a great episode, y'all. There was some heartwarming stuff, there was some murder mystery stuff, there was some friendship / shipping stuff going on. All excuse me, all around it was filler, but for once it was good filler.
Yeah.
It answered some questions. Our flashback wasn't useless. It actually was juicy and meaty, and we had some fun. But let's
Hook was
get into
wet.
it.
The hook was
I
wet.
Yes, and Hook was wet. Unlocked achievement, wet Hook. Everybody, my name is Lisa, aka Captain Hook Podcast, aka You Brought Me Home on Tumblr, and these are my friends.
Hi, I'm Pip. I am Pirate Hero Killian on Tumblr and Pirate Hero Jones on Twitter.
Hi, I'm Daniela. I am Queen Swan 20 on Tumblr and Queen Witch 151 on Twitter.
Ro is not here for some reason. I don't know why. I sent him the link. Hopefully he will show up later.
Yeah.
Anywho. So, in this episode, in the flashbacks, Henry is trying to figure out some way to impress Cinderella because, she really needs to be impressed, right? He wants to marry her, but he feels like he doesn't have anything to offer her because he's not magical. He's not a prince. Well, he is, but he isn't at the same time because he grew up in Storybrooke, a place that didn't have magic, so he's not, a crowned prince. And he wants to have something to offer her. So Wish Hook has realized what his problem is and has decided to help him out. Because at first they were trying to rescue a treasure from a golden dragon or something like that, and apparently the dragon migrated away, and all that was left was a drunk dude sitting in front of a treasure chest. So that mission was a flop. So Hook, being a pirate, says, "You know what? If you want to uncover a treasure and have an adventure, you're talking to the right guy. Pirate, hello." And, if anybody knows how to adventure, yo ho ho, it's me. But first, of course, they have to reacquire the Jolly, because apparently after Hook turned it over to Smee, Smee lost it to, yes, you know who, Blackbeard.
Yeah.
So Hook has to disguise himself. Not a really great disguise, but still funny. And he has the map to Davy Jones's locker. Who here felt like that was a wasted plot line that really could have been used like 4 seasons ago? Hello, Jones, anybody?
What? I missed that. I missed what you were saying.
Pirates of the Caribbean thing with Davy Jones.
Oh.
Yeah, because they have the same last name, so this guy that was like a wasted plot line. Hello. Anyway.
To be fair, I don't think they wanted to capitalize, because even Colin has said he wanted to take the character away from the whole sort of Pirates of the Caribbean sort of thing. So I don't think they wanted to really capitalize on that sort of thing. It just because Davy Jones he's a legend in pirate lore to begin with. It's not something that's just tied to Pirates of the Caribbean. So kind of.
But then again, there are also people that when Blackbeard was first introduced, people also in season 3, people also believed that Blackbeard was Killian's father, but that didn't pan out either.
Yeah, well, people believe a lot of things.
I actually like Killian's background because I always felt like I didn't need him. They always thought, oh, maybe he is an unknown prince, or maybe he has some unknown magical power, maybe one of his parents is a god or something. I didn't need that. I liked the fact that he was just a normal guy.
I think that's important, that he is. It's kind of similar to, I've talked about this on Twitter before in the past, but it's kind of similar to, because someone mentioned on Twitter, they mentioned this whole thing about how royal families is such a topic that people gravitate to. Like, it's hard, like Star Wars, it's about the family lineage, Lord of the Rings. It's about family lineage from Bilbo to Frodo, you know, that sort of thing. That it's hard to avoid the whole family lineage thing, that it's something that no matter how much we say we don't like the idea of royalty and all that stuff, we gravitate to that sort of story. And I pointed out how Once Upon a Time did the same thing, you know, with Regina being the being the daughter of Cora, and Zelena being the daughter of Cora, Henry being the adoptive son of Regina, and then the son of Balefire and the Savior, who is the product of true love of Prince Charming and Snow White and all this stuff. And then in the middle of all this nepotism that was going on and this family lineage that going on, you have Killian Jones, who is in the middle of all of this, who has no connections to anyone by family, and his family story is contained into itself. I was like,
exactly.
In a way, David was also similar, because David had no connections to anybody either. He was kind of an outsider that was brought into this world. He was a normal guy. He was a shepherd. His family, his dad was a shepherd, was a drunk shepherd. His mother ran the farm with him. That was it. That's all they did. So
yes, that's why I like it when people are just normal people, but circumstances change their future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Wishhook is obviously been with Henry long enough that Henry has regaled him with all kinds of tales of the adventures that he and OG Hook went on in Storybrooke, and all the times that Hook has been such a great stepdad. Goggles off my heart. So hurt. So hurt. Captain Cobra. Yes. You know, and all the good things that Killian has done for his stepson. So Wishhook is wanting to be that for him too, you know, wanting to be there for him and do something good for him. So he's set up this elaborate ruse to make it look like they're actually going to steal Davy Jones's locker treasure, but they have to fight Blackbeard first. Oh my goodness, Blackbeard's going to kill us. Except no, he's not. Now I don't know what kind of relationship Blackbeard and Killian have in this Wish realm, because in our realm that we know, all they do is fight, and all that Blackbeard does is try to steal the Jolly Roger, and would have no qualms about leaving Killian to die. This version of Blackbeard seems like he's kind of
a nice guy.
Not he's a pirate, but he's not that nasty. He's just kind of happy-go-lucky, sorta, you know. Typical pirate, but not disgusting. Like, he's not evil. He's just, you know, a pirate.
Yeah.
Basically. He's able to be reasoned with. He's not entirely intelligent, but he's still able to be reasoned with, because they obviously came to some sort of an agreement to set up this elaborate ruse. It was funny when Hook's like, you can't kill him. He's Prince Henry of Storybrooke. And Blackbeard just is like, well, of course not. And I'm like, what? Huh?
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd.
That wouldn't have stopped Blackbeard before.
I was like, that's a little odd. And then when you realize it was all part of the act, it's like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
But at the end of the day, they still had to knock him unconscious, because he was trying to stop them from turning the ship around. The Davy Jones treasure was real, and they brought it up, and holy shit, was it a treasure. And Henry wanted this beautiful ring that apparently had once belonged to Davy Jones himself, that he gave to his pirate queen, because he thought it would be a great ring to give to Jacinda to propose marriage, because it has such an amazing story behind it. But what he didn't realize was that there was magic involved with that ring, and Davy Jones down there wasn't too happy about having his pirate queen's ring taken away. So this massive storm started with this massive whirlpool, and Hook is struggling just to keep the ship from going down the whirlpool.
Was his queen named Calypso?
That's in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sorry.
So Henry realizes that there's magic attached to this ring, and he's got to throw the ring back into the whirlpool, or they're going to die. And so he has Hook turn the ship around towards the whirlpool, and the best line ever in the show was uttered. I would trust any version of any Hook to safely.
I would trust any Hook to safely pilot any vessel in any
realm. Warm the cockles of my heart, Captain Cope. And Smee's face in the background. Yep. You would think that more people on that ship would have been loyal, but you forget that pirates are loyal to whoever is in power.
No.
If you just because Killian might have been a good captain.
Wait. It was all a ruse. Remember, they were loyal. They all went along with the plan.
I know, but if this was reality, like pirates are loyal to whoever can take power and whoever can demonstrate that they have the power. Remember in season 3, episode 17, when Blackbeard and Killian were fighting for the ship. The crew was a mixture of Killian's old crew and Blackbeard's crew. And they were fighting over who had control of the ship. When Killian won, his crew had no problems changing sides. That's because they're only loyal to whoever has the power. That's how pirates work.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Henry's fortuitousness manages to save them, even though they have to knock out Blackbeard, who's trying to keep them from going towards the whirlpool. He throws the ring back in. The whirlpool closes, and suddenly the sea is like glass again, as if it never happened. So he's got this massive treasure, but no ring. But he realizes in the course of this whole thing that it was never about the ring, or it was never about the adventure or magic. All that Cinderella wants is him home safe. And this is what Hook says to him. He's like, look, I know you think that you need to be here to have some adventure story to tell her, but that's not what she wants. All she wants is you home safe and alive. She wouldn't care what kind of ring that you buy her, even if it was an inexpensive little band. She wouldn't care as long as it came from your heart. You know what I mean?
Aww.
Your heart, you know? So he proposes to her. She accepts. Very romantic.
I died.
It's actually, I was kind of feeling it just a little bit there too, you know? For once, I was finally kind of feeling it. Pip, were you feeling it at all?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
What, the scene where he proposes?
Nope.
I know you don't. I know you don't really connect with them. Were you feeling even just the tiniest little bit, just a smidge?
Nope. Nothing. I feel absolutely nothing. I have no feelings whatsoever for this ship. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen for me. We are 16 episodes into the season and I still feel nothing. Okay. I was all excited about, I felt more for the chemistry between Rogers and Sabine than I did for Henry and Ella. So there you go.
This is true. This is true.
Are you serious thinking that in the end of this season, Wish Hook and Tiana are gonna, fall in love and stuff?
No.
No, she's gonna fall in love
with
Naveen.
I actually got a message about that from Anonymous. Unbelievable. Rogers can't have any friends without people shipping him with everyone.
Don't bring it up. It's a troll. That's a troll. Let it go.
That's a troll. It seems like this person is on Roger's side.
No. Wait. Don't bring it up. Trust me. They're fishing around for people to answer it. I got that ask. Another person that I know of got that ask. The exact same ask. They want people to answer. They're trying to cause drama. Let it go. Well, trust me.
We had already discussed this about a million times anyway. As much as we ship them and have no problem with them being a thing, I mean, obviously Roger's operative storyline in this season is not a love interest. It's his daughter, period. There's really nothing else to be said.
Speaking of Alice, we had some Mad Archer scenes. They were so cute and I died.
So in Storybrooke, well,
in Hyperion Heights.
Sorry, I still have Storybrooke on the brain because they filmed in Storybrooke last week. Sorry. In Hyperion Heights, Henry has gotten a job offer from a broadcasting firm in New York that likes his Hyperion Heights podcast, and they want him to produce some podcasts in New York. And he has to tell Jacinda this and let her know that, if I accept this job, it means I have to move away because I can't produce Hyperion Heights stuff if I'm not living in Hyperion Heights anymore. And even though she's happy that he's gotten this job, she's still disappointed at the same time because she doesn't want him to go, but she doesn't know how to tell him this. And he feels like everything in his life is kind of falling apart. Lucy's pushed him away, doesn't want him to be with her mother. Jacinda hasn't said anything and wants them only to be friends and doesn't think they're supposed to be together, and nothing seems to be working right. So in his mind, he feels like it's a good time to pack it up and get out of Dodge. So while he's getting ready to do this, Weaver comes to see him. That was a great exchange between him and Weaver. The last time you were here, you punched me in the face. And I have changed my life choices since then. I am sorry. Apparently, Weaver got his hands on the book that Hansel had earmarked with a bunch of notes as to why he was doing the things that he was doing. And he wanted Henry to read through it to see if he can make any sense of it. Because even if Henry doesn't believe that the tales are real, whoever is doing the killing obviously believes that he's some character in this book. Henry is doubtful and can't seem to make heads or tails of it, but then he kind of realizes through the notes that this person thinks he's Hansel, and he's killing witches out of revenge for Sister Gretel's death and for other transgressions against him, because he's all badly burned from being in the blind witch's oven. So he's committing all these murders in revenge against the witches that have done him wrong. Now it's all just a matter of figuring out who this Hansel person is. On the other side of town, Rogers has gotten Tilly a job at Sabine's food truck because Tilly had eaten him out of home. And he can no longer afford all her food costs, so he needs her to get a gig and quick. He gets her a job with Sabine. She's a little trepidatious at first because she's never had a job in her life, and everyone's kind of like not sure if she can handle herself because of, her eccentricities. Now, she might not be the best cook in the world, but this girl could sell ice to an Eskimo, yo. She is very good at being personable and ingratiating herself with people to the point that she really manages to get a lot of sales going for the food truck. And one of those sales happens to be Margot. Margot's having a bad day because she got into a fight with her mother. Zelena wants to tell Margot the truth. She wants to tell her what her real name is, that she's Robin and that they've been cursed, but she knows if she tells the truth, Margot's going to think she's crazy. So she can't tell her anything until they fix this curse problem. That's what they're actively trying to do. And she feels frustrated that she can't be honest with her daughter. And all Margot wants is for her to communicate because, she's like, you bulldozed me over the phone, wanted me to fly back here because all this crap that was going on. And, now nothing's happening. I'm just sitting here waiting. Why am I here? Why am I working? Why are you working in the bar? Why haven't you called Chad, who you're supposed to be marrying soon? What is going on? Who is this Lucy person? What are you doing? Why aren't you talking to me? So they're kind of in a fight. But a cute little night rook conversation on that park bench gets her to realize that she needs to kind of step out of the box and see things from her mother's point of view just a little bit. So they manage to come to terms, and she apologizes for being so mean, and Zelena tells her that there are things I can't tell you, but I have a reason why, and once I can tell you, I will tell you. You just have to trust me. And I do need you here. So what did everybody think of the night rook scenes? Were we happy?
I love the night rook scenes. You could just tell that even though they don't know, they're such a father and daughter. Like him saying, "Stop biting your nails." She's like, "Oh, you're being so imperious," and I was just like, "I love you too. You guys are so cute." And he looks so proud of her when she did well.
They kill me every time. They're so cute and adorable. I love Night Rook.
So yeah, I was very, very happy about that. There wasn't anything about the episode I wasn't happy with. I was very happy. Even the stuff with, God, I love Rumple this season. I've hated Rumple the entire time I've watched the show until this season. And this season, it finally feels genuine that his redemption is at hand. And it's just like, okay, I finally believe it. I finally accept that he wants to do the right thing. So it was nice to see him encouraging Henry.
Also, this episode was Regina No Show.
That's right.
Yeah, they said that she was looking for some kind of herb that she needed to complete the potion.
It's probably because she's because Lana's directed the next episode.
Yeah,
So
but
she's probably prepping.
I know where Regina is, and it's with certain someone whose name goes with the F.
It was so weird. I saw people on Twitter saying that Facilier was the killer after last night's episode. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Why? It's Nick. They just said it was Nick. The show literally just said it was Hansel. Who is Nick? I don't understand what people are talking about.
Did you miss him drugging and tying Henry up?
I was like, did they see the end of the episode? They're like, I think people are so determined for Regina to not be with Facilier that I'm just like, that they're making things up now. I'm just like, wow, okay, whatever.
And honestly, even if he's a decent guy, no one says that means they're going to end up together. I don't think he was filming in the finale, was he?
Yeah.
I don't know there's been so many people filming these past few weeks that it's impossible to tell at this point. So
it's a mystery.
I don't remember the last time that he was filming, honestly.
Well,
but they do a lot of studio stuff. So
I have to say that when Henry was going in the car with Nick, I was like screaming at my laptop since I was watching this live stream. I was like, saying, "It's a trap! Don't go in there! He's a crazy Henry!" And he went in the car and then got deuced and kidnapped by Nick.
Well, in Henry's defense, and I said this before we started the podcast, in Henry's defense, he doesn't know what we know. He can't know that Nick is the killer. So it's not fair of us to sit here and like be like, oh, how he's so stupid. How does he not realize? There's no clue been given. We figured it out. Well, I figured it out pretty quickly, but it was revealed at the end of last week's episode that he was the killer. But nobody else knows this. Even Rumpel can't figure it out. That's why he went to Henry.
I mean, I'm glad that at the end of the episode, when he pulls the little piece of glass out of his tire, that it kind of motivated him to realize that that was a sign that he really needs to go be with Ella. You know, I was glad he was trying to work his way back to her.
And to be fair to Henry, he did figure it out once he was in the car.
But at the same time, I felt like I was watching Scream or something. I was like, oh God, no, please, don't go in the Keller's car. No,
once he was in the car, he realized that he saw the burns on his arm.
As soon as I was almost certain, I was waiting for the burns to show up, because as soon as Henry mentioned, when he was talking to Weaver with the book, and he mentioned the fact that Hansel was burned badly and it kind of caused it to go crazy, I was certain that he was going to see the burns and that was going to tip him off. And when he went to move the keys over, his jacket sleeve kind of rode up and you could see the burns and you could see the light go off in Henry's face. He's like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, he realized he realized he had fucked up, and it was just like, so it wasn't, but yeah.
So Henry tried to escape and got drugged and is now tied up in some unknown location, while Hansel is readying another gift package to give to, guess who? Zelena.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
Apparently, of all the witches, other than the blind witch, Zelena has pissed him off the most for some reason. So Zelena did something to him that makes him want her to be dead the most, I guess.
Yeah.
You would think that would be Gothel, considering Gothel was responsible for Gretel dying.
I realized we haven't seen Gothel for 3 episodes now.
Well, after her plan spectacularly failed with Anastasia, she's probably licking her wound.
She was in last week's episode. That's right. I totally forgot she was in last week's episode. Whoops.
Yeah.
I kind of blocked her out.
Her plan spectacularly failed. So now she has to lick her wounds and figure out what to do next.
But yeah, she hasn't been in as many of these episodes as you would think, since she's, I mean, obviously she's going to be in the episode Flower Child, so, but I don't know. It's just...
That's supposed to be Gothel's backstory, right?
Yeah, that's her backstory, and that's her last episode.
Yeah.
So Henry
is in deadly peril. We don't know if Hansel's Nick/Jack, whatever the fuck, is going to kill him or not, or is just trying to keep him out of the way while he continues with his work. Jacinda tried to call him to tell him that she didn't want him to go to New York, but he didn't answer his phone. So nobody knows that he's been kidnapped. They all think he's on a plane going to New York. Uh-oh. I don't know who's going to find him, but better somebody.
Hopefully it's Rogers.
Hopefully.
Hopefully if she's not too busy banging Vasily.
Speaking of Rogers, I really did love those Night Rook scenes. I loved even though he doesn't realize and doesn't remember that she is his daughter, he dotes on her like a father would, wanting to make sure that she's dressed properly, that she eats enough that, like you said, doesn't chew her nails, doesn't, automatically. He's trying to make sure she's confident and ready to start this job, and doesn't second guess herself, doesn't automatically think that she's going to fail. He's trying to give her a pep talk and everything, and and then at the end of the day, when he comes to pick her up, she's telling him all about how much she sold and what a great job that she did there, and the smile on his face, just of utter joy, is just I know, warms the cockles. Warms the cockles.
Yeah, I think this was it didn't hit me till later on last night that what was happening with Rogers in Hyperion Heights was paralleling what was happening with the flashbacks with Henry. It was him finally, because he was a good dad to Alice at first, obviously, and then the whole curse of his heart happened and he kind of fell off the wagon.
That was another reason why he wanted to be a good role model to Henry, because I feel like in some way he feels like he failed her, because if he hadn't stopped off and did that stupid duel, he would have been able to get back there in time to get her out of the tower. So he feels like it's his fault that they're stuck.
Yeah, there's a twofold sort of situation happening there with him trying to impress Henry, because he's trying to live up to his other self and he's trying to make up for his mistakes with Alice. So God, that scene where he says to Henry, he can't even finish his sentence. He's like, maybe I don't even know. He doesn't even know why he did what he did. It broke my heart, because you can just, when Henry says, the other hook, and the hook I knew wouldn't have made a fool of me. And he's like, I know, lad, you always going on about how he's helped you. And it's just like, think of how many times because that just set the context that Henry's told him about OG Killian how many times now. Didn't you just imagine Wishhook having to sit there and take that and just think about, he's sitting there going, how do I become this person? How does this happen? I don't understand how he was able to do this, which he just hasn't found that obviously he does find it. And I remember a lot of people, and they were up until recently, they were still complaining about the fact how this hook didn't have that sort of redemption story. We just saw him being good again. He did. We just haven't seen it, though. We just haven't seen the extent of it. Like, he just went from wanting to replace OG Killian to suddenly realizing that he's not going to do it. And then the next episode, he was part of the hero team and he didn't have any sort of journey to go through. But we just saw that he did. We just hadn't seen it yet. But he's getting to the point where he's realizing he can't do things the old way like he used to. He has to go about it the right way. He has to be.
But see, his redemption story did not happen when he tried to switch places with Hook. His redemption story happened long before that, when he was a father to Alice.
I know that, but he since then was corrupted. We can't take his redemption with Alice as a jumping off point, because he was corrupted. We obviously saw what he turned into. We saw the length that he was going to go to get back to Alice. He fell down that rabbit hole, no pun intended. He fell down that rabbit hole again. And we haven't, up until this point, we hadn't seen where, from the moment he decided to join up with Henry to everything else we'd seen, we hadn't seen a moment where he tried to, he went about things the wrong way, trying to get a good result. We hadn't seen that yet. And that's what a lot of people were kind of like complaining about. And last night we saw that. He's trying to help, but he's going about it the way a pirate would, not necessarily as the hero would, because he doesn't know how to be the hero.
Right.
Because the stuff with Alice is moot for this situation because of his corrupted heart. So,
and I'm just going to say it because I feel it. If there was no Tilly in this, and there was no daughter, I'm totally on the Sabine and Hook train. Wish Hook.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They make an awesome couple, but I mean, this is me knowing that it's not obviously not going to go there, but if it could, I think it should.
Yeah, I think that I don't know because they obviously they were gonna write it in and then they pulled back on it because there were some scenes that they had filmed that we never saw in the episode. That was that 702 or 703? I think it was 703.
Well, they were
it was early on when they were sitting on the bench and talking together.
Yeah, we never got those in the episode. I think they were going to go there and they pulled back, and I think part of this was kind of a bleed over from that. Because they keep hinting at it on the show, but there's nothing concrete. So
and honestly,
with this show, the romances they're gonna slap you in the face with them. They're not gonna be subtle. Okay, right. It's gonna hit you upside the head like a 10-ton brick. So
well, that's not necessarily true because Captain Swan at the beginning was subtle.
I know.
It was subtle.
No. It was not subtle in any way. I'm sorry. It wasn't. It was plain as day that these two were gonna be.
I mean, the it wasn't subtle on Killian's part, but the development as a whole was slow.
No, I don't think so. It was obvious that these two were going to end up together. Like I said, when I got into the show, I had seen stuff with them on my Tumblr, and and it was their chemistry, and I was like, this is going to be something. This isn't just a sort of, throwaway sort of, will they, won't they? This was what they had the plan for. He was always meant to be her love interest, and that was obvious from the get-go. They're not subtle about it. It's like Snowing, obviously they were already established, but Outlaw Queen, that's another one that they weren't subtle about it. As soon as it started happening, you knew this is where they were going to go. So the whole thing with Rogers and Sabine, or Hook and Tiana, it would be more obvious. They did it with Tiana and Naveen. They've done the slap upside the head, this is going to be your romance sort of story. That's why I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Also, what I like about this episode, besides the Matt Archer stuff and the Zelina and Robin stuff, I like the whole adventure between Wish Cook and Henry. I really like that, and also it gave me good reason to watch my dear old pirate wet in his pirate suit.
Okay, can we talk about Killian in that cloak, because that was one of the most entertaining things I have ever seen on Once Upon a Time in my life. Him wearing that cloak, Colin was having so much fun wearing that cloak, because he was just, I was dying.
Him in cloaks is just funny, period. Like when he's Old Hook, and Old Hook was wearing that cloak, he was like, ooh.
I think it's because he doesn't get a cloak very often. He's always either in, the modern day Hook stuff, the Rogers outfit, or the pirate stuff, and there's not much cloaks in between there. So when he gets one, he's going to make the best of it. He's going to run with it. That, and the moment when he threw... I
just love Colin's comic timing. I think he is so on point.
When he throws the necklace in the beginning of the episode, gifting that moment, making a gif of that moment, I was dying laughing just making the gif. Every time I look at it, like last night after they announced that it had wrapped, that they were done with filming and all that stuff, I was going back through my timeline on Twitter, and I had posted that gif on Twitter, and I was laughing through tears because it was so funny just to sit here and watch him throw that and then do the hand gesture. I was just like, dude, your comedic timing it's unparalleled, really.
Have you posted that GIF on Tumblr? Because I think I would like to.
Yeah, it's on Tumblr. It's on Tumblr. Him just chucking that.
Shit was funny. I mean, Colin's comic timing is just dead the fuck on. Like, I mean, the way he threw that necklace, the way that he,
the faces he made.
The faces that he made in the cloak, even though you really couldn't see his face that much because he was trying to hide himself, he was still he was funny, but like quietly
It's
funny.
not in your face funny. It's sort of like he just does whatever feels natural, and it just I think that's why it comes off so natural and so funny, is because he's just going with whatever what he thinks works, and
Yeah.
it does work.
I'm wondering if there's anything in that bar scene that was ad-libbed on
Maybe,
Colin's part.
maybe.
Yeah.
It seemed like there might have been, because there
Like
was.
that part when he's like, I don't think you'd make the cut. Like for the crew, he's like, no offense, but I don't think you'd make his cut. I was like, that's funny. The whole thing was funny. It was.
Yeah.
All around, it was filler, but and you know, I can't believe I'm actually saying, because most of the time when we get stuck with episodes that are like this, I get frustrated because it doesn't move the plot along enough. But this time it was filler, but it was good filler. Like it moved the plot. It was funny. It was touching. Yeah. It was adventurous. You know, everything that I think once should be and hasn't been for a long time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The whole episode was a lot of fun, and just for them to bring back like Smee and Blackbeard for the whole thing, just for a ruse, it's like this is great. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so from the promo, episode 17, Chosen, we know that things with Henry have taken a dangerous turn. Like, we don't know if Henry's going to live. I mean, obviously Henry's going to live because he's in the last episode of the series, but he's in mortal danger because of Hansel. Hansel is after Zelena for whatever it was that she did to piss him off. I'm guessing this is going to be a Zelena centric. We're going to have some flashback as to how she knows Hansel and what it was that she did to him to piss him off.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will find Henry in this episode and rescue him. And this might be the catalyst that Jacinda and Henry need to finally, you know, get moving on the whole true love train.
You think? You know what I said when I saw this promo? I said, Hansel is so hot right now. You know, get it from Hansel and Zoolander. Hansel.
I saw a gif of Nick Parsons wearing just the tank top while he was working at the table making up the chocolates. You could see him from the back, and he has a very nice back. And they said, this is supposed to be a family show, right?
He's cute.
He is cute. Why are all the guys on this show just so nice to look at?
Except Bobby.
Like, well, Bobby's got the sort of older. He's got the older guy thing going for him.
Gilf, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he's kind of got the older, good-looking dude thing going for him.
But
especially this season, I've really been feeling it this season. It's like I can see why people are, you know, fangirl over him. Like I can feel it.
You know something? I think the reason why I've finally started to understand what people see in Bobby, because before he was wearing costumes, he was wearing suits or the Rumple gear, but this season I feel like Bobby just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna dress the way I dress. And I think these are Bobby's normal clothes. Like I honest to God think that he didn't have costuming bringing him anything. He just shows up wearing whatever he wants to wear. Because this looks like the kind of thing that Bobby normally wears. Even the rings and the way they're placed on his fingers, I think those are his rings. Like literally, I think those are his. That's his clothes.
That's gangster.
Yeah, it's working for him this season. It made me go, okay, I can see why people fangirl over him. I get it. I get you now. I feel you.
You know, but I really like this episode because it only saw the whole Henriella romance that killed me with a proposal. Matt Archer romance, cute. Would have been chemistry between Sabine and Rogers, but well, you know, that's kid. Also, that's all race and stuff. But what I liked about this episode is that Henry finally sees that he doesn't need a ring to ask her. A ring so shiny, like to ask her. What comes from the heart is what matters, and that's what I liked about this episode. Besides the Nick is a sexy psychopath evil killer of witches. But I really like this episode from the whole families and Nightrook, Matt Archer, Henrietta stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I guess in order to get, according to the promo, in order to get Zelena to do what he wants her to do,
her fiance,
he kidnaps her fiance Chad. So this is going to be Chad's baptism by fire. I guess into magical realm.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. I don't know, but okay, now one thing I've been wondering: how did Hansel realize who he was?
I don't know.
See,
I'm assuming that in this episode, with whatever Zelena backstory has to do with him, they'll probably explain why it is that he's awake.
Yeah, because he clearly he knows. So I'm wondering how he knows. Maybe it's sort of, I don't know, maybe it's a sort of Jefferson sort of situation. Maybe Gothel built it in that he could remember, but he couldn't do anything. Well, that didn't work out for her, so I don't know.
Or maybe it's just that he's so cracked that the curse didn't work on his fractured mind.
Maybe in the same way that the curse can't seem to cover up the relationships or the things that were integral to who they were, sort of thing, because
it's possible.
Because you have because Jacinda and Sabine are still friends. You have obviously Rogers and Tilly they came back together, that sort of thing. Margot and Tilly, that sort of thing. Kelly and Margot. So the relationships are still there. So I'm kind of wondering if the part of integral to who they were is kind of built into it. That's why it's something like, say, Hansel's mental instability was so strong that the curse couldn't hide that.
It's possible.
Yeah, and also the whole Hansel and Gretel magic stuff. You know where that comes from? Because remember the movie Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, that their mother was a witch, and Gretel had magic, and the magic of the evil witches didn't affect them, didn't kill them.
Someone pointed out on Tumblr that that in season 1 with Hansel and Gretel of Once Upon a Time, the boy's name was Nick.
Right, that is correct.
So
Nicholas and Ava.
So could they be playing on something there?
No, I think that the writers just didn't remember that they had done that, and
no, that's too much of a coincidence. I'm sorry. I think that it might have been intentional, but it might not be that they're connected, but it might have been intentional. A sort of like, well, we've dropped the hint for you, you just didn't realize it until you got all the pieces in place. Because they're very good about doing that, about dropping those, they'll drop something in there and you don't realize it till like episodes later or seasons later that they had done that. You're like, oh my God.
So did we like Roger's new coat?
Yes.
Did we like the new jacket?
Sexy bitch. Sexy back.
He's becoming ever so slowly more piratey.
His wardrobe as the episodes go along becomes more and more Killian Jones.
He had more color before. Well, more color if you can count blue jeans. But now it's like more to the black and piratey type jackets, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice jacket.
Rockstar. Oh, he looks so sexy with that jacket. I want to attack him.
Yeah.
So we don't have much in the way of spoilers. What we can tell you is that they have completed their last location shoot in Steveston, aka Storybrooke. I'm sure that everyone in Tumblr saw all the pictures of everybody saying I know, but I'm sure everyone saw the pictures that all the actors posted of the last time that they were going to be in Storybrooke. And as of late last night,
this morning,
that's a wrap, folks.
It was early this morning that they wrapped.
Adam, Eddie, Colin, Bobby, Jared, Rebecca, Alana, Andrew, all of them posted pictures, say their final goodbyes, because that, my friends, is a wrap on season 7
on this show.
Well, I know they're probably going to be in post prod and adding some voiceover stuff probably before the episodes air, and then adding music as well. But for actual filming,
yeah,
they are done.
Bye bye.
You know something? When I was talking to Pip about this before, but I walked into this year knowing it was probably going to be the last. I was resigned to it. It really did not emotionally affect me. But last night and early this morning, when I saw those final posts saying that they were done, I didn't cry or anything, but my heart kind of just felt low. Like it, I just felt, like a sadness just come over me, because I knew that after 7 years, we've kind of fallen into this routine where, okay, season has ended. This is a wrap. Then we'll get pictures from the wrap party. Then everybody will go on vacation and they'll do some of their own work or have some time off. Then in July, we'll come back and start filming. Then they'll have Comic-Con. Everything is like in a stage. We always know what to expect leading up to the new year. But now that expectation is broken, because it is no more.
I know.
No Comic-Con, no filming, no anything.
No,
we still have the creation conventions though, so there's still something that's coming through, at least until November. We'll have that. So
does that mean that after the creation events are over, that creation won't be hosting them?
They're done. Yeah, they're done. Which means, but then that also means the actors can go off and do other conventions now. So there's it's bittersweet in a way.
Yeah.
They can still do Fairy Tales and Ever After Con.
No, Fairy Tales is done. Their X Events is not doing that anymore.
They could do Ever After or BrazilCon or
thank you, Jesus.
Toronto Comic-Con, or
Yeah, but I've done this once before with, I obviously did it more recently with a movie franchise, but I've done this once before with a show that I've absolutely adored ending and being a part of it. And this feels different. I don't know why it feels so different. It feels like it's on a whole other level. I'm not as like, it doesn't feel as like, maybe because I've had time to prepare, and of course it's a different fandom experience than it was 10 years ago, so it's weird. I don't know why it feels so more profound than it did when I did this with Stargate, because it's I don't know. I'm gonna start crying if I keep talking.
That's okay. You know what? I felt like this when I never thought, since when Harry Potter movies ended in the last movie, the second part of Deathly Hallows, I felt that way like I'm feeling now that Once Upon a Time's film ended, and I'm really gonna miss seeing the behind the scenes, the actors coming to Vancouver, and I'm grateful. I'm never gonna forget this cast. I'm never gonna forget the writers, the characters, the show. It's gonna be part of me. I'm never gonna be it's gonna be stuck in my memory. Even when I'm an old lady, I'm gonna remember all the characters and the actors of this show. So I'm very grateful for having been part of it. I got very sad and emotional, but I didn't cry when this rap stuff happened. And I'm planning to do, like, before in the end of this month, a video where I'm singing a song as a tribute and a thank you for the cast of Once Upon a Time, the old and the new, and for the show. It's called Be the Hero of Your Story.
I guess the reason why I didn't really get emotional with this, other than the fact that I kind of said my goodbyes at the end of last year, was also the fact this is not my first go. I've been in fandom for a long time, so this is not the first show that I've started from beginning to end and have had to see go. And see, the difference is that when I first started in fandom many, many, many moons ago, we didn't have the option of online fandoms, of Tumblrs and Twitters and conventions and things. The most we had was a fanzine, and that was like an actual magazine,
it's
paper.
A magazine. Yep, paper.
Like an actual paper magazine with stories and pictures that fans put their blood, sweat, and tears into and mailed to you. I actually have a fanzine. No, I have two from two different shows.
Yeah, I have one.
From one from the 80s and one from the 90s. I'm that old.
Yeah,
but have like MacGyver?
No, but close. I have one from Beauty and the Beast from the 80s, and I have one from. Don't judge me.
I have
Vincent
one from
was the shit. And I have one from Forever Night, which was from the 90s, which was the start of my vampire obsession. Anyway, the point is, having started in fandoms before we had all of this social media access and all of these conventions and stuff, to be able to be in a fandom now where you have access to all these things, so that even after the show ends, you can still go online and read fan fiction. You can still go to conventions. You can still buy merchandise and all these things. I feel like fans now are so lucky to have what they have. Because in the past, when fandom started, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into these things. We had to write fan fiction disclaimers to make sure that nobody sued us. We had to publish them in magazine form because we didn't have all of these things. It took a long time. We didn't have the action figure. Well, not like what we have now. We didn't have all of these things. So whenever the show ended, that was it. And you had said something about MacGyver. Yeah. The first show I ever watched was MacGyver. I was 7 years old in 1985 when MacGyver came out. I watched that show from day one till the day it ended 7 years later. I was 14 years old.
Wow.
7 till I was 14. The show ended in 1992. I cried when that show ended because that was my favorite show, and Richard Dean Anderson was my favorite actor when I was 14. And, that hurt me because I knew that once it was over, it was over. That was it. Yeah. There was not going to be fanzines or fan fiction or anything. That was it. So, but as the years went on and technology grew, we were able to have more access to user groups and fan forums and things where we could share these things so that the shows won't die. Even MacGyver, even though it's been over 30 years since the show's been on, you can still find the websites with MacGyver fan fiction.
Yep. And also watch the reboot series with Lucas Till,
which is a lot more than we ever had. I mean, trust me, I have dedicated whole decades of my life to shows. I was a fan of Jack. Okay, that was a decade of my life, from 95 to 2005. No joke, a fucking decade to that ship and that show. Okay, so believe me, I understand. I guess I got to a point now where I let myself get emotionally invested in ships, but I don't let myself get emotionally invested in shows overall because I know that the show is going to end at some point. And I know that if I get myself too invested in it, it's going to emotionally scar me, and I don't want to do that. So
I don't feel emotionally scarred by it. When the announcement came out back in February that the show was ending, I cried then. And then, it sort of passed and I was able to, get back into enjoying it. And then now I cried last night and I've been kind of crying off and on all week because I knew it was going to be happening. And, and now I feel fine today. I kind of did start crying randomly in the car, but it wasn't I don't feel like it's not painful in the way. It was kind of like you said, we came into this season kind of, expecting that this is where it was going to go. Yeah. And it's kind of, we've known about it for at least it's been 2 months now since they announced that the show was going to be ending. So it's not like this is unexpected, and it's just at the same time, it's sad, and it's hard to sit out here and think that Colin won't be out there playing this character anymore.
Yeah.
At least for the foreseeable future. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Reboots are very popular, that sort of thing. We don't know what's going to happen, but for the foreseeable future, as of right now, he's not playing the character anymore, and that makes me sad because it was in the back of my mind. It was something that was always the comfort that to know that Colin O'Donoghue was out there playing Killian Jones, and that I was going to get to see Killian Jones again.
You know, I think that's the one thing that I'm most sad about. Not the fact that the show was ending, because I was prepared for that. I'm more sad and more heartbroken over the fact that I will not see this man on my screen every week. I will not see. I mean, yes, I'll see him on Tumblr, of course, because people are not going to stop blogging about and tweeting about Colin. Obviously, I'm his fan for life. I'm going to follow him, period. But like I said, we have that expectation where we're going to see his face on screen every week, and now we won't have that anymore. Yeah, or at least once these 6 episodes are done.
Yeah.
We're going to have to wait till his either what still remains comes out, or his next project, or if he gets a pilot, whatever it is. It's just it's going to be hard not to see him on a regular basis.
Yeah. We don't know what he's going to do, like in terms of like he might get back into social media now that he doesn't have the whole huge schedule to follow and the whole, you know.
It's true.
We don't know what he's going to do, but at the same time, knowing that he's absolutely done as Killian Jones, with the exception of, say, going in and doing ADR for episodes or whatever. He's done. He's not playing this character anymore, and it's sad. It's the end of an era.
You know what? These things always happen in like 20-year spans. So just give it about 20 years, and I can guarantee you're going to see a Once Upon a Time reboot.
Oh yeah,
or no, not a reboot, but a reunion, and all the cast are going to come back, and we'll get the same story for 20 years later.
Yeah, there's going to be a reunion. I'm sure it's stuff to look forward to, but at the same time, it's kind of like the now of it is done, and it's kind of like I said, it's the end of an era. It's not the end of the fandom, but it's the end of the canon context of the show is coming to its close. It's getting its happily ever after. So. Sad.
I know.
That's why I really do hope that now that filming is around, and now we're gonna have so much less of seeing them on our screens, that it's fine. I'm really hoping it's sunk in for people, because the fandom this year has been so split. It's so divided this year, all over something so inconsequential. I'm really hoping that now that we're getting down to, the final run.
Finale.
Where we've only got a little over a month left, that people will come together.
No.
And remember where we started.
No, it's not gonna happen. People are so set in their drama and their ways at this point that if people are still going on, and it's still happening, it's obviously we're still getting asks about stuff, and that's not important. People are causing uproars over stuff that's not important, that it's part of the fabric of Once Upon a Time fandom at this point, that I don't think it's ever going to go away. Even when the show is over, it's not going to go away. We're going to be 10 years from now, people are going to be on whatever the popular social media is 10 years from now. If it's still Twitter, or something else, there's going to be bickering between Captain Swan and Swan Queen fandom. There's going to be people, talking about how much they love Regina or hate Regina, or love Hook or hate Hook. That's part of the legacy of the show. It is what it is. I don't think it's ever going to change.
Yeah, it's going to be like the whole terrorists of the Islam Republic thingy, where the battle doesn't end. It'll continue forever.
It's so ingrained in this fandom's culture that it's not something that's ever going away. People have been doing this since season 1 for some people, so it's never going to stop. If it hasn't stopped after 7 seasons, it's never going to stop.
But I really like this. I'm really gonna be part of this fandom it's gonna take till 2020 for me to recover the whole ending of Once Upon a Time, because I'm gonna be very emotional watching the last episodes in the finale.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the last 6. It's gonna be, now that we got through this week, because this week was anxiety filled waiting for the announcement that they were done, but now knowing that they're done, we're past that hurdle. There's now just 6 episodes left for us to enjoy and appreciate.
When did they say that the finale was going to be?
May 18th.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot later than what they normally do.
No, Last year the finale was on May 14th. So it just happens to be because it's on Friday.
I thought it was May
Sunday.
7th.
No, it was May 14th. Trust me.
Yeah.
I guess it's just expectation, because even after a season of a show is done, you always know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Now we don't have that anymore, so kind of bereft just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, there's really no spoilers to speak of. Like I said, they've been holding the season very close to the vest. We don't know very much about what's going to happen at the end, or why Enchanted Forest peoples. I know some things, but I promised people on Twitter that I would not mention them. I cannot say them. I cannot speak them, although this information has probably already made its way through fandom regardless. But I'm still
sticking to its speculation. I'm not going to believe it until I see it in the episode. That's what I'm sticking with. So
that's another reason why I'm not mentioning it, because we don't know what is actually going to happen until we see it on our screens. So we will, instead of speculating, we will wait and see.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anybody
I'm
have any?
Speculate and I'm gonna theorize, but that's just me. But I really like this episode very much. The whole Henrietta, Nightrook, Ben Archer, and the whole crazy console stuff. I really like this episode because it's been a very long time since we had a mystery episode in this show. So kudos for it to be happening again.
And just as a public service announcement, some little housekeeping here. I know, Pip, you already posted this, but just in case anybody has not read this, Colin will not be appearing at the Chicago Creation Con due to professional obligation. He's got some other stuff going on. So if anybody is going to Chicago Con, deeply sorry if you're not able to see Colin, but Sean will be taking his place. So
Sean and Jared are both going to be there.
Yeah, Sean and Jared will both be there. So
and Giles.
So the gold panel that was supposed to be Colin and Lana will now be Sean and Lana. So all the Outlaw Queen people
in the house.
No. It wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be Colin and Lana.
Oh no, it was supposed to be Colin and Rose. I think, right?
Yeah, Colin and Lana was last year because JMO had to cancel. No, because Lana's appearing, and then Lana had to change the day that she was appearing to Saturday. Lana's appearing on Sunday. Colin was supposed to appear on Saturday, so they're not going to have a panel together.
They'll pair Rose up with somebody, I guess. Anyhow, if you don't know how Creation does things, if you bought a duo photo op or any autographs or photo ops with Colin, all you have to do when you get there, when you register, is show them the paperwork, and they will give you a voucher, and that's good for you to buy a photo or an autograph with anybody else that is available, or you can use it as quasi cash to go into the dealer's room and buy lots of good shit. So if you want to get use to buy shirts or hats or once gear, you can use that.
If you decide at the end of the convention that you don't want to use that voucher, you can mail it back to Creation and they will give you your refund. But it has to be it would have to be after the convention.
It will take some time, but you will get it back.
Yeah.
But his other con dates are still good. So the one after Chicago is Orlando,
and then New Jersey, and then Burbank.
And that will be the end of the farewell tour.
Yeah.
We know that Jen is not going to be at those. We'd like her to be, but obviously I think they're pretty solid with replacing Jen with Rose. Trying to focus on the season 7 aspect or whatever. But just think of it like this. Like you had said, once the Creation Cons are over with and their obligation to that company is done, they're more free to do other cons that they don't have to have contracts with. They can just do whatever cons that they feel like. Colin pretty much has a running con gig for life. I mean, this dude will be welcome in any con that he chooses to go to, so that's not even going to be an issue. So I'm fairly certain that even after this show ends, that we'll still see him around.
Yes.
He's not going nowhere. He's not going anywhere. He's too big. He's too big to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, any final thoughts about Breadcrumbs? Anybody?
Nope.
I love it. I loved it.
I thought it was a great episode. Very, very good episode. Very entertaining.
Absolutely, yes. In all the right places.
Yes.
All right. So that is it for today. If you guys have anything else you want to ask us about, I will be posting signups for Chosen episode 17, likely on Monday. Come join us. Come talk. Let's come together, people. We've only have 6 episodes left. Let's be a family.
Keep dreaming.
Let's be a family.
You can keep dreaming. Oh.
My comeback, Serena Shannon, please.
Just one more time. Just
And Michelle,
time.
you too.
And listen, and for the finale episode, I really want that to be the best podcast that it possibly can be. So if you guys have any ideas about stuff you want to talk about, it doesn't necessarily have to be about season 7 or about those characters. I really want it to be like a retrospective where we talk about everything and all of our experiences with Once and all the characters we love and all the things that happened to us and all the people that we met and everything that the show means to us. Because this will be our last chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on back, people. Come on back. All right, guys. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.
Bye.